You know, another thing that fascinated me about your book is that I find that Chinese are very good at talking about nature. And sometimes when you give example in Chinese, you always go back to nature. It was the first time that you compare something very technological to something natural that everybody can understand. And it's fascinating to see that whenever you talk about data, you always go back to nature to give it a much simple meaning so that everybody can understand. So it's I like your Chinese way of explaining something that in the West sometimes we cannot explain as clearly as you. That is also another reason why I like your book. Now, going back to the title, Online. I really like the title because it's simple and it's ingenious. So you have to know that in the last 3 years, I've been traveling a lot between China and Silicon Valley and back in China to do research. And the incredible thing is that I realized that even though Silicon Valley is the epicenter of innovation, China is the place where innovation has its biggest evolution, its biggest gains, its biggest scale. And two things that I wrote in my book are that the first, from internet and e-commerce point of view, I think the Chinese model is now going out of China and inspiring developing and developed country. I was talking to some colleagues and they told me they just got back from India, and there's a gentleman, a famous entrepreneur who defines himself as the Jack Ma of India. You can hear about the Jack Ma of Indonesia, of Africa, or South America. So China is now becoming, e-commerce is becoming an export product. And the second thing is that the way that people are online in China is not only about being connected, it's a mindset. Can you share with us a little bit about what you mean online as a mindset, and how does it differ from an offline mindset?
So basically, you know, as you mentioned, that actually online is a very simple word, and I also use the word as being online to really reflect it's a status we have. Yes, we have. And you're right, you know, when a lot of people, when they talking about China, particularly the internet in China, they are more talking about, the market here is huge, and they may even say, particularly it's true in the early days of the China that we copy some of the thing from the United States, that's true. But I think the things change over the time, because because of the scale of the internet we have, because of the users we have, and when they grow in a particular tipping point, it's not a quantity, it's changed the way of view the internet. So for me, actually today, why China could do something that some other country can do, and why, as you mentioned, actually, people will say that's the Jack Ma of India, just because we figure out something very simple. That's what I believe. So number one, the simple thing is how people confident about the internet. So for me, online the stats, today people are very confident about something they can touch.
Yes.
I would say they feel confident about the offline world because this is something they can see, this is something they can smell, this is something they can touch.
It's been there for a long time.
Yeah, been a long time. They just get to use that. But people are less confident about the online things. So internet happened to be something online. So one example I want to give to you is, the China is not that confident about the credit card. You probably know that.
Of course.
So people still feel, whether it's too risk to sweep a card and pay them. You know that.
Of course.
But today Chinese people are very happy to pay with your smartphone. But in some sense, smartphone is more risky than you pay with a credit card.
Of course.
But the people just so confident about the smartphone. Has nothing to do with whether it's risk or not in some sense, But in some sense, Chinese people today are more confident about a lifestyle of being online.